Now, Jimmy Haslam is hella mad. He is furious with Kevin Stefanski for not benching Joe Flacco. Now, we know Kevin Stefanski has been saying, we're going to make the time when the time is right to, with the quarterback decision. As of right now, Joe is going to be the guy.
The Cleveland Browns were already swimming in controversy, but the latest wave hit harder than anything the franchise has faced all season. Rumors exploded across the NFL landscape, claiming that head coach Kevin Stefanski had reportedly explored the idea of trading Shedeur Sanders, and the moment this story leaked, chaos erupted. The internet lit up instantly. Fans couldn't believe it. Analysts were stunned. Reporters scrambled for details. And the biggest shock of all came from the claim that Browns owner Jimmy Haslam allegedly confronted Stefanski inside the facility in one of the most heated internal disputes the team has faced in years. Nothing has been officially confirmed by the team, but the rumor alone triggered a full-scale meltdown across the NFL world.
Now, I say that to say this. Everybody knows Shedeur Sanders can ball out long as he got a line and, everything's looking right. This is what Shedeur does. He fixes things. He's a conduit of change. He's going to come in and make a change. He did it at Jackson State. He did it in Colorado. He's going to do it here in Cleveland. But what better way to maximize the value of Shedeur than to damn near hurt the value of Shedeur, have everybody pissed off, and have it bigger than it ever could be.
According to early reports circulating online, Haslam was furious and completely blindsided by whispers that Stefanski had floated Shedeur's name in private trade conversations. For many fans, that idea alone sounded outrageous. Why would the team consider letting go of a quarterback who not only carries superstar potential, but has become the most talked about young player in Cleveland? The claim didn't make logical sense, and that's exactly why the story blew up so fast. When a rumor challenges the entire identity of a franchise, the reaction becomes volcanic. That's what happened here. As soon as the story broke, every NFL talk show flipped their rundown. Segments got rewritten. Emergency panels were assembled. Analysts debated whether the rumor had any truth behind it or whether it was simply another example of how unstable Cleveland's internal communication has become.
We're going to move on to another story. That is Kevin Stefanski and his future. Let's listen to Jimmy, man.
Yeah, I think we've said consistently that this is a marathon, and it's not easy, and it's complicated due to its size, the public-private partnership. I'd say this is a significant hurdle to get by. We were always confident we'd work it out one way or another. It's a significant hurdle to get by, and we're very excited.
Some experts argued the idea sounded too wild to be real. Trading a rookie quarterback before he's even properly developed is the type of story that usually belongs on fan forums, not national headlines. But others said the chaos within the Browns has been so intense lately that nothing is impossible. And that uncertainty is what made the rumor hit so hard. The fan base didn't waste a second reacting. Cleveland supporters flooded social platforms demanding answers, warning that even the idea of trading Shedeur would destroy trust between the fan base and the organization. They pointed to Shedeur's leadership, his potential, his marketability, and the way the locker room gravitates toward him. Trading him wouldn't just be a bad football decision, it would blow up the identity of the franchise. Players, reporters, analysts, everyone had an opinion. But one thing was clear. Even if the rumor wasn't confirmed, it had already created massive consequences. Tension rose, pressure increased. Cameras began focusing more heavily on every Browns practice, every Stefanski comment, every sign of conflict. The story wasn't about whether the rumor was fact or fiction. The story was about how quickly the Browns found themselves drowning in a narrative they couldn't control, and how Shedeur Sanders' name has now become the center of Cleveland's storm. Once the initial shock wore off, the deeper question emerged.
Going as scheduled. That is us and Shedeur Sanders for the 2025 season, man. Jimmy Haslam looked like he might have secured his bill with the city for this new stadium. And he's doing interviews and he's talking, bro. But more importantly, we're seeing a shift change in the roster. We've seen Joe Flacco leave. We're seeing Kevin Stefanski looking like a deer in headlights. I believe Jimmy Haslam is about to put his foot down because he needs to pay for that new stadium. See, in this game,
why would a rumor like this even exist in the first place? Analysts began dissecting where the story could have originated. Was it a miscommunication, a leak from a staff member, a misunderstanding during scouting conversations, a negotiation tactic misinterpreted by insiders, or was someone inside the organization releasing information to generate pressure or influence decisions? NFL insiders explained that trade discussions are almost never straightforward. Coaches and executives occasionally float names during broad conversations without any intention of making a deal. Sometimes a team will ask, "What would it take?" just to gauge value. Other times, rival teams ask about a player knowing they will get rejected. These conversations often stay private, but when even a whisper escapes the walls, it becomes wildfire instantly, and that's exactly what happened with Shedeur. But analysts also pointed out something deeper. The Browns have been drowning in quarterback controversy for weeks. Between Shedeur's lack of first-team reps, his unprepared debut, the viral Dylan Gabriel interview, and media critics attacking Stefanski's decisions, Cleveland's quarterback room has become one of the most chaotic storylines in the NFL. In an environment that unstable, rumors spread faster than facts. Every small conversation gets magnified, every misinterpretation becomes a headline, every debate turns into a leak.
Going up against the Vikings. Let's head on over to ESPN Cleveland, man, because that's where a lot of this information is coming from. Riz and the gang, even Tony, all of them is speaking about this. Internal affairs. So let's listen.
My insider's saying that there's strife in the building. Tony wrote about it too today. He must have got the same stuff. But apparently, it's Kev v. Andrew and Jimmy, from what I understand. Kev wants to keep.
That's why many analysts believe the rumor may not reflect actual trade intentions, but instead reflect dysfunction inside the franchise. The narrative suggests miscommunication, lack of alignment, and unclear leadership structures. Some commentators argued that the rumor showed an organization not moving with one voice. Others said it exposed internal disagreements about how fast Shedeur should ascend to QB1. Meanwhile, fans insisted the rumor could only exist if someone inside the organization wasn't happy with how things were being handled. Whether that person was a coach, an executive, or someone connected to the team, nobody knew. But the existence of the rumor itself revealed cracks inside the structure. That's when the second piece of the story took over, the alleged confrontation. Reports claimed Jimmy Haslam was furious and demanded an explanation. Analysts were quick to point out that owners rarely get involved in trade rumors unless the situation threatens the foundation of the franchise. And with Shedeur being viewed by many as the future face of Cleveland football, the rumor hit at the heart of everything Haslam wants the Browns to become. Even if the confrontation never happened exactly as described, the idea of it reflected a growing reality. The Browns are in the middle of an internal power struggle, and Shedeur Sanders is the centerpiece of that conflict. The shock value of the rumor intensified as sports talk shows began breaking down the potential motivations behind the alleged trade discussions. Analysts dissected every angle. Was the coaching staff frustrated with the media attention surrounding Shedeur? Were they worried about the pressure of developing a rookie who already carries national spotlight? Was Stefanski trying to preserve his coaching structure without having to immediately adjust the offense around a young quarterback? Some analysts believe the rumor stemmed from tension surrounding Shedeur's rapid rise. Before he played a snap, he was already one of the most talked about rookies in the league. After his viral press conference, his profile skyrocketed. Fans demanded he be developed immediately. Analysts began calling him the future. Even other players across the league commented on his potential. That kind of attention changes locker room dynamics instantly. For coaches who prefer slow, controlled development timelines, that kind of shift can feel disruptive. A sudden spotlight can pressure a coaching staff to accelerate plans they aren't ready for. Analysts argued that if Stefanski ever expressed concerns about managing Shedeur's timeline, that could have been misinterpreted as wanting to move him. Another possibility, rival teams tested the waters. With the Browns QB controversy trending nationally, it wouldn't be surprising if another franchise reached out to see whether Cleveland's structure was fragile enough to explore trade options. Even the smallest inquiry from another team could create a chain reaction of speculation behind the scenes. But the wildest theory circulating among fans was that someone inside the Browns wanted to put pressure on Stefanski by leaking a rumor that would make him look disloyal or reckless. This theory gained traction because the scandal immediately damaged Stefanski's image. Fans erupted, analysts criticized him, internal tension increased, and a rumor that extreme created distrust between Stefanski and the public instantly. That's why some insiders said this could have been a strategic leak, not to expose an actual trade attempt, but to expose tension inside the building. In the modern NFL, information leaks are often more about politics than facts. When a coaching staff or front office isn't aligned, leaks become weapons. And Cleveland has been dealing with too much instability for anyone to dismiss that possibility. Still, the most important part of the scandal wasn't whether the rumor was true, it was the fact that it went viral at all. Because in the NFL, if a rumor spreads fast enough, it becomes a storyline. And once it becomes a storyline, it becomes a crisis teams must respond to. This rumor challenged the Browns' leadership. It tested their unity. It sparked debates that didn't exist before. It forced the organization into defensive mode. And just like that, Shedeur Sanders, without saying a word, became the center of one of the biggest controversies of the NFL season. As the story gained momentum, analysts turned their attention to the reported confrontation between Jimmy Haslam and Kevin Stefanski. Even though no official details were released, the rumor itself was enough to spark mass speculation about the tone and intensity of the alleged meeting. Insiders described it as heated, direct, and impossible to ignore, and that description alone triggered a wave of reaction from across the league. Analysts explained that owners typically avoid emotional confrontations. They prefer controlled meetings, structured discussions, and private reviews. So the idea that Haslam exploded or confronted Stefanski with anger, whether exaggerated or not, suggested one thing clearly: the Browns cannot afford another quarterback disaster. Cleveland fans have lived through more quarterback turmoil than almost any franchise in modern NFL history. From failed draft picks to messy transitions to short-lived stints, the city has been exhausted by instability. When the team drafted Shedeur Sanders, fans believed they finally had a long-term path, a franchise direction, a fresh era. So when rumors suggested that the head coach may have floated Shedeur's name in trade talks, it struck at the heart of everything fans believed the team was building. If Haslam truly did confront Stefanski, it wasn't about anger alone. It was about protecting the only quarterback Cleveland fans have trusted in years. Stefanski, according to reports, denied the claims immediately and said the rumor was exaggerated or misinterpreted, but the damage had already been done. Fans questioned his loyalty to the future, analysts questioned his vision, former players questioned his decision-making, and insiders questioned whether this incident would influence his job security moving forward. Meanwhile, Shedeur's name kept trending nationwide. Every time the Browns tried to steer the conversation, the media dragged it back to Shedeur. Every time a player gave a post-practice interview, someone asked about Shedeur. Every time Stefanski spoke to the press, the first question involved Shedeur. This wasn't just a rumor anymore. It was a narrative the Browns couldn't escape. The idea that Shedeur might be traded wasn't taken seriously by most analysts. But the impact of the rumor was undeniable. It created distrust. It exposed cracks in leadership. It made fans feel like the franchise was spiraling. Some commentators argued the confrontation rumor was a sign of Haslam stepping in to reassert control over the franchise's direction. Others said it reflected frustration with Stefanski's handling of the quarterback situation overall. And others claimed the story was symbolic of a deeper issue. Cleveland has reached a breaking point, and even whispers are enough to destabilize the entire organization. Whether true or not, the confrontation rumor painted a picture of a franchise under pressure and a head coach now fighting for authority. By the end of the week, it was clear that the rumor had permanently shifted the Browns' narrative. Whether the alleged trade discussions were real, exaggerated, misinterpreted, or completely fictional, the impact was undeniable. The perception of Stefanski had changed. The perception of the organization's unity had changed. The perception of Shedeur's role had changed. But most importantly, the scandal revealed a powerful truth. Cleveland cannot afford another quarterback mistake, and the fan base will not tolerate anything that threatens Shedeur Sanders' future. The Browns are now under intense pressure to prove they are aligned, stable, and committed to their long-term plan. Stefanski's decisions will be scrutinized more heavily than ever. Rep distribution, play calling, practice rotations, press conferences, everything is now under the microscope. Analysts predict that the Browns will begin giving Shedeur more first-team reps as a show of confidence. Others believe the organization will eventually issue a stronger public statement to calm the storm. And some believe the team will make structural changes behind the scenes to prevent similar controversies from emerging. But regardless of what the franchise does next, the scandal has already reshaped their future. Shedeur Sanders is no longer just a rookie quarterback. He is the centerpiece of the Browns' identity. He's the player fans believe in. He's the player analysts focus on. He's the player the media cannot stop discussing. Whether the trade rumor was real or not doesn't matter anymore. Perception has taken over, and in the NFL, perception becomes reality. Stefanski now faces a critical crossroads. He must prove he supports his young quarterback. He must prove he can lead through controversy. He must prove he can protect the future instead of resisting it. And Jimmy Haslam, whether he actually confronted Stefanski or not, now stands as the symbol of accountability in the eyes of fans. The ownership must show clarity, direction, and stability if they want to repair the damage this rumor created. As for Shedeur, he remains untouched by the drama publicly. Calm, focused, silent. But his presence grows stronger with every headline, every debate, every rumor, and every viral clip. Because sometimes the biggest stars don't need to speak. The world speaks for them. And right now, the entire NFL is speaking loudly about Shedeur Sanders, about his future, about his potential, about his role in Cleveland. This scandal did not weaken him, it elevated him. It transformed him from a promising rookie into the centerpiece of an NFL franchise facing a crossroads. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more deep dive NFL storytelling, quarterback analysis, and behind the scenes drama from around the league.